welcome to Busted Speakers. I'm Kush,
I'm Alex.
I'm Cam.
and today we're going to review Julia Byrne, Not Even Happiness. Julia Byrne is a new artist. I mean, I think this is her first album released on Bandcamp. She's from New York, and what can I say? It was a boring album.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Even though people think it's like boring, I do have a problem with something that Anthony Fantano said about this album. I get that people will find this boring. I even found it pretty boring. But in his Why You Know review thing, I just hate it when people offhandedly dismiss an album with as much influence and not responsibility, but as he does have he has probably the biggest music reviewer fan base on the platform, and to just offhandedly, humorously dismiss an album is gonna get people to never listen to her music ever. And it's not even that I like this album or not, and even if it's with an album I hate or love, it's just I hate seeing that. I don't know. Sorry for going off topic there.
Well, I mean, to defend him, I think he did listen to the album, and he's just putting his opinion that, and I can agree that there wasn't any memorable songs. I personally can't tell one song from the other, even though I liked the sound she had, but listening to it for 10 songs in a row, it was just too much for me. I just kind of got bored overall.
Well, it's not even that. It's just the way that you can just. I don't think any album should be worth a 10-15 second offhand, I don't know, just dismissing it like that. I think if you're gonna even cover an album, it should just be at least somewhat respectful. This is her first album. I mean, that's gonna get people getting the wrong idea about her, or maybe not. Maybe it is the right idea, but people are just gonna not decide for themselves. I don't know. It isn't really his fault. I mean, it is something that I just get annoyed at. Something like that.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the actual review.
Sorry.
Not Even Happiness. It wasn't a bad album. I liked her sound. She had gorgeous vocals. She had, I think, acoustics for most of the songs.
Yeah, most of them.
She's obviously really took that folk sound and played with it and made it really well. But I feel like it was the same chord progression every song, similar tone and singing. The imagery she makes with the lyrics are gorgeous, though. I think she talks about really relatable content, things that everyone knows about. The song "Melting Grid" is one of my favorites. The song's about feeling alone, even though tons of people around you, and it's something that I think everyone feels at some point in their life. And I think making it relatable is one way to make it more memorable, but I think most of the songs in here just sounded so similar that listening to it as an album itself just got a bit boring.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I do, but there's also the argument that you could listen to anything and distinguish differences. But yeah, I do agree. This is it's not the most memorable album, but this is actually one album where I do appreciate the squeak of the acoustic guitars.
Oh, I love
just
the squeak.
I know, has that become a thing for us?
I'm a bit of a squeaking fan. I love it when the acoustics aren't clean.
Is it an addiction of yours?
A little bit.
Yeah, well, it helps that she's a really impressive guitarist. This is the sort of music that I can imagine being really captivating and lovely to be seen played live, if you know what I mean. Just her alone on the guitar and her voice, that could create a really nice atmosphere. But yeah, I just really loved the sound of this album more than most of the songs. I did have some that I thought were really excellent, and yeah, her vocals are really likable and chilled, but almost to the point where I can't focus on the lyrics, even though I really do appreciate them. Some of the imagery of sometimes the countryside or nature on some of these songs creates a really picturesque, dreamy view, and I really like that about this album.
Yeah. Cam, any thoughts?
Yeah, I guess I liked it a lot more than you guys did.
No, I did really like it. It's just I'm trying to like think of it in the same in like a non biased way because I have known about her for a few months. I don't know, maybe.
okay, well, I don't know. I guess part of my liking this album is that, for one thing, my first thought, like, just from the opening of the first track and just hearing her voice was she kind of sounds like Joni Mitchell, and
Yeah.
that's like kind of the obvious connection to make. Like, I read some reviews and interviews, and of course, like, she's getting compared to, like, I mean, every female folk singer these days is like getting compared to the greats of 60s and 70s folk, but there's just something about the quality of her voice that really said Joni Mitchell to me. And thinking of that, it's also like I have like Joni Mitchell's first 10 albums on CD from a really nice compilation here. I haven't gotten through them all yet, and I don't love all of them yet, the ones that I've heard, especially the early ones, but at the same time, it's like I can tell that there's something here that is going to draw me in and keep me there for sometime in the future. And I got the same feeling listening to her stuff, to Julie Byrne's. And the other point of comparison, I thought this one is probably much less accurate, but it's just the only thing I could think of. It kind of felt like her version of Carrie and Lowell by Sufjan Stevens. I don't think it quite has the personal tragedy connection that album has for Suf, but it's just the sound of it, it's very sparse. And I mean, like, all I can think of is just the same words that you could use to describe any acoustic folk album these days. But like, she recorded it in like her childhood home in her bedroom or something like that, and it just has that kind of feeling to it. And she's like, just like you guys have been saying, the kind of captivating singer who can just make it work and draw you in, even if it's not necessarily the most impressive thing. And I feel like it's just going to open up as I listen to it more. So I'm really excited to have found this one.
Yeah, another thing this reminded me of, mainly from the guitar, was maybe Nick Drake's Pink Moon. Just that she's she's one person accompanying herself by herself. But the thing about Pink Moon is that Nick plays that really well. Like, he doesn't play conventionally. He like makes a rhythm and a melody at the same time, and she actually kind of does that on some of these songs. Like, I know there are bass playing on a few of these songs. Like, towards the end, there's definitely some, unless she's like really playing the lower string of the guitar, which can sometimes sound a bit like a bass. She just is such a talented musician. I just think she needs more distinct songwriting on a few of these songs to really hit her potential, because she does have a lot.
Yeah, so overall, from the actual track list, every song sounded gorgeous. I think there wasn't one song where I was like disappointed in like her quality of music, because everything sounds great. Specifically, what stood out was the interlude, and I know she's not singing. She didn't sing in it, or at least I don't remember her singing in it. But
no.
It was instrumental, and there's also, I think I caught, was like waves crashing in the background, and it sounded absolutely gorgeous. I was impressed. That blew me away. Even though like her vocals are phenomenal, I think that instrumental was just something that blew me away. And there's also like boat horns going on in the background, and it just she took like something from the outside and made a song in herself, and it sounded really nice.
It's really
And the other song was the very last song, I Live Now as a Singer. I think compositionally it was actually a phenomenal song. The lyrics are great. I think this is the one song where she used a piano, right?
Yeah, it was the only one.
Yeah, the only one that I could tell a difference in. That was because she used a piano. And I think if she took the folk sound and went with the guitar, she would do phenomenal with that. Or if she did the piano pop sound, she could do phenomenal with that. But I would kind of hope that she would mix the two up, because I think the piano adds a different layer of depth that we don't get with just a guitar. And I think she sounds gorgeous on both, but I think I really enjoyed the piano maybe a little bit more. Maybe because it was I was getting kind of tired of the guitar throughout the album, but I'm not sure. Anything else?
Well, yeah, I was just waiting to see if Cam wanted to say anything.
Nope, you got it.
Okay, well, one of my favourite songs from the 2010s is probably Push the Sky Away by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. And I Live Now as a Sinner reminded me completely of that. It's like an ambient pop song that gets drawn in from the atmosphere of the piano playing. And I think this actually is probably the best thing that she could do with her future as a musician, because like you say, she abandons the acoustic guitar, but while that's played very well, sometimes that like hides her vocals a little bit. I don't know, they become like a equal leveled playing field thing, the guitar and the vocals on a lot of these songs. Here we get the sort of same ambient pop vibe, the same sound that she thought she'd introduce in the interlude, because it's the same sort of atmosphere. And I don't know, it's just really amazing song to me. I mean, this has strings on it. Probably the only amazing song on here that really could be something pointing to a good future for her. And I don't know, it's just something really good to me, because a lot of these songs feel kind of aimless, but just sound so good that I can't hate on this album. But that song in particular points to like a good future in ambient pop. Yeah, and it was weird, the interlude, because usually I don't like interludes, but that one was a very good atmospheric set piece.
The last thing that I think I'm going to add is I think the main thing that just worked really well at drawing me in, without necessarily me even realizing it, was just the fact that she always, well, I don't want to say always, but frequently had other instruments that were just barely audible, like you guys have mentioned, the like strings, and there was flute on some songs, and I could swear on, I think Follow My Voice, there was like a harmonica in the background just quietly keeping to itself, and it's just like it feels like the kind of album that there's just going to be more things to find about it the more you listen to it, and just noticing the ones that I did just got me excited, and I really liked the touches that they added to all of the songs.
Yeah, I mean, some of these had a flute, like you said, which gave it a nice Celtic authentic vibe, and another layer of variety that some of these instruments do. But yeah, they are mixed so quietly I can't like tell what instrument they are sometimes.
That to me was kind of the charm too, because I thought, like, when I first heard the harmonica, I'm like, what is that, like a little kind of squeeze box or something? But then no, it's like, no, that's this pretty steady harmonica, and I'm just like, okay, what else you got?
Well, wouldn't you think that like takes something away? I don't know, an element of it. I don't know. The mixing in this album is good, but sometimes I think it's like mixed weirdly in that way. Like, it could be made a lot clearer, but that since the atmosphere's so good, such a pretty sound that I don't mind that much. It's just a bit weird and hazy.
Especially in the song Follow My Voice, I felt like her vocals were just kind of shoved in the background, even though...
This one's funny because it's like you're trying to follow her voice through the song, because it's like hidden below the atmosphere. But it's such a pretty voice. She sounds like a siren across the ocean trying to, I don't know, beckon you forward, which is a bit probably not very true, but something I got from it.
I don't remember thinking she ever got buried by the instrumentation. And the important thing to me is that she actually had presence, like, at all. Like, even if she was buried, I could still tell that she was like actually performing. And I mean, I might touch a nerve here, I don't know, but one of the things that I just can't stand about Elliott Smith is that I never feel like he actually wants to be singing. It always feels like he's scared of his own microphone, or anything, and he gets buried in his music, and I just can't listen to any of his albums for very long. But here, like, yeah, she kept me interested the whole way through, with mostly on the strength of her voice. So, even if it did get buried from time to time, I didn't notice, just because that's the thing that drew me into the songs right away.
That's why I thought this would sound better live, her as a performer, just because obviously it wouldn't be mixed then, and we'd just get the full, pure, unfiltrated performance of her. And to go back to Elliott Smith, I do agree with you, sometimes he does sound disengaged, but that might have actually been from his own personal problems of confidence or whatever, because he did have a lot of problems towards the end of his life, particular depression, and led to his end.
What would you rate it, Alex?
I'm gonna. This might seem quite high considering how I've not been talking that positively about it, but I'm gonna give it a 7 because I did really enjoy the whole sound of the album. I don't know, it's like the sort of thing that would work really well as background music, but like Cam said, there's definitely a layer to this of I don't know, hidden elements that would reward repeated listenings. I'm hoping that she'll continue to sound introduced on the last song mainly, but yeah, like you said earlier, Kush, I do hope she combines both of them, because she does have a lot of talent, and I'm happy to have heard this album.
How about you, Cam?
I'm just gonna skip right to the end and give it an 8, because I feel like, as I listen to it more, it's probably just going to evolve into an 8. And yeah, I do agree that there are some things that she could do better songwriting wise, but I just really love calming music that isn't just not there. There's actually something there that you can pick up on if you actually pay attention. I'm gonna stick with that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give it a 6. Now, she has something going for her. There are some very great elements to what she does. Her vocals are fantastic. Her guitar playing is fantastic. I just really want a little bit of diversity in each track. Maybe switch up the tone you're going with, because I think her tone was more of a somber and a sad tone throughout the entire album. And maybe you can switch it up. Maybe make a little. I'm probably the worst person to ask for this, but I don't really know much about production and the actual process for making a song. But I think there is something that's missing, and I think if we had gotten that, I think this would have been a much higher album. But I'm definitely looking forward to whatever she does next. Really excited by this album, because it is her first project, and it's just a really, really good project, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it is her debut album. I mean, some people can make a stone cold classic on their first, but some people, especially solo artists, need some time to pick up. Listen to David Bowie's first album. That is not too good. But then he released some of the best albums ever in the decades after. So who knows what she'll make in a few years?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be keeping an eye on her.
Ditto.
Okay. If that's it, then thanks for tuning in, Busted Speakers. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let us know what you feel about this album in the comments below, and check us out on social media.